Hello, YouTubers and video watchers. It's Orlock425 here, and this is another talking discussion video, episode 10. And the game I'm gonna be playing for this episode is Minecraft, the Xbox One edition. Unfortunately, I won't be showing my face, so I still will put it on two platforms, but this is going to be on Orlock425 speaking here from both Jimmy Wilson and me myself, Orlock425. What recently I'm be talking about is basically what's been happening since a lot of discussions has been going on and a lot of recent think talks. So this is gonna be my first time ever, I say this, Spider-Man and the gaming news problems that have been going on recently. And this is that's been trending everywhere. So the reason why I'm actually making this, and this is themed all towards, you know, what's going on with Sony, and it's also themed with, the economy of gaming industry. So I might have to change the title, but this is going on with recently of anything that I'm gonna be talking about in this episode 11 is basically with the Sony issue, the Spider-Man issue that they're reveling to each other, and of course Microsoft, what's been troubling them and what they need to fix, and that's why this civil war is going on in Microsoft. And while that's happening now, World War I's happening in Sony. So if you realized, there's two sides that are happening on what's going on, where societies are fighting with Sony, and basically how you get when I start talking about it, you understand what's going on here in the situation. And then last but not least, I'll be also talking about the loot box issue that's been going on with everything in the gaming, and how it's gone an obsession with gambling for many years. So yes, I'll change the title to make sure that everybody who's listening up with what's going on, who doesn't even care, saying who cares about it, I agree with them 100% too. Like I don't care, but I still put my feelings and passionate through these, and I do understand how there's people out there who do care, and there's gamers out there who are having these issues too. And let's just get right to this, because I don't want to be wasting my time talking about the topic here. So what I want to issue right now is the fact that, number one, I need to get this straight and simple. This is the where I'm gonna be showing my leak. As you could tell right here, when I put search up on Google News Sony, because it's easier to find on Google it and to put on the news of Sony. They recently, yes, they leaked this, which, by the way, if you have your opinions about this topic of the new leak footage of the PlayStation 5, you can put it down in the comments on that section. But yet again, this is the main issue that's been happening over. It's because of the Sony, over the years, have been, getting Activision to make their Spider-Man thing and release it in all platforms, and it was like that. Everyone was enjoying it, but the problem was it wasn't a good game, because Activision, now they became a terrible company and been ruining Destiny, and they've been ruining all these other games. So they got tired of it, and they were not making enough sales. So they decided, you know what, let's give the Spider-Man thing to Insomniac, which, by the way, Insomniac's decision to not put it either on Xbox and PC was, well, I can understand on if Insomniac's towards PlayStation, then yeah, Xbox is not where Insomniac was. Even though Sunset Overdrive they made a few whiles back, you could tell right here, they're now sold over like almost 700,000 million. If you can't, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is how much they sold over the Sunset Overdrive game. Because not only did they put it on Xbox, but they also had it on PC, and a lot of people just bought it. They said, you know what, yeah, we're just gonna get this game because this is the game that looks really good and interesting. At the beginning, they only sold like less than that, was over 320, and now it's at 760. So that's some crazy news that I wanted to say. But here's the main issue that's been happening with Sony. Now people are really pissed on it. The decision with Disney and Sony disagreeing on the Spider-Man and being a part of the MCU, all because of Disney wanted more money and Sony refused. They wanted to keep it the same. And instead of making a different offer to maybe higher it up, no, they just completely just said, if you don't want to keep our offer, just gonna remove Spider-Man from the MCU. Which was kind of a terrible decision, and let me be honest. To do something like that and to to put to not even give a counter offer to Disney was really bad. It was. And they've been trying to change the offer, like Disney requested 30 but Sony still declined, which I even told Disney from a tweet that if you're going to put 20% to 10, it will satisfy Sony and it will satisfy you that you're getting a little bit more, but you're still having the story and then work out, so Sony still gets a chunk of money while you get a little tiny bit more, so it could be both satisfied. I agree that that should actually happen, and Sony should just accept it around the 20 through 10% range. That, oh, they've been with 5 films with Spider-Man and they had 2 solo ones with 5%. Yeah, I agree with Disney. They should raise it up a little bit higher since they're the one putting all the money efforts towards this movie, since it's coming out of their pocket. So I would agree 100% with Disney. They should raise it a little bit more. But it's Sony that needs to understand that since even though you own the rights to the Spider-Man, you should agree somewhere between 20 to 10% to Disney. So that way, both parties are satisfied that they're getting a little bit more. And Disney has to just accept it that this is Sony's property. You have to just come up with a good decision to accept it around 20 to 10%. So that way both parties are satisfied that this will at least get Sony's attention, that yeah, it'll give you a little bit more just because you're doing a good job with the films. So you can continue with like 7 more, because that's what the rumor was, with 7 more that they wanted to. Even though they said they're shocked right now because they said right here that Spider-Man 3, they said that might launch before, even if Sony and Disney strike a deal. Yes, this is right here that it might happen before Avengers 5, which, by the way, right now they propose a future deal. As a result, Spider-Man is no longer part of the MCU. But even though then they're still need to make one more Spider-Man, and it's gonna be long before Avengers 5 hits. So if this could not be Sony not be under pressure, hopefully that the Sony could still accept what's going on in relation to the film projects. Yeah, we really have to get attention here, because of the fact that if we don't do something about it, it's gonna get worse and worse. The balance between each other has been a crossfire really badly. It's just not been so good. There's a house divided against each other from Sony and Disney side, and the fans are just angry at each other at what's going on. And they even boycotted, and this is another site that I'm showing you, they even boycotted PlayStation. In the following events, they told people to stop buying PlayStation games of Sony because of the Disney refusal and the fact that they're boycotting now, which is crazy. I'm shocked at what's going on here, and now Xbox is realizing that from Microsoft, I guess, that they want to team up with PlayStation. They feel sorry that the fact that the people are getting angry, but there's still a lot of tweets out there, a lot of people just in denial. They're really angry in the fact that they want to stop playing PlayStation because of this issue that's been happening. You can go ahead and check out this website. Just find it under Sony and you'll be able to see the boycott thing. You can see it right here from their scripts. If you look closely to each one of these, you can find it under this list somewhere. So this is my website that I just went on just recently, this 3 hours ago on August 25th. That yeah, they finally break a split from Spider-Man and Marvel. opinion, because of Disney's situation and the fact that now the partnerships is saying that there has ended already, and the fact that they're still not making negotiable terms. And here's what gets even worse. I'm looking at this and it's telling me that he'll continue playing Spider-Man, but without being part of the MCU, just on a solo film, which is kind of sad. It is. They want to make it cooler, but after seeing previous movies, we only there to wait and see what happens, because the fact that if the standalone films do not make it as their temp hypes, you know they already failed. Because I could see Sony subscribers and they only have about 3.7 million subscribers and a couple of like views. Now, depending on the money amount that Disney gave them, it's only a matter of what happens if you were to put that in the side. However, this isn't still my advice to Sony and Disney. They need to address some statement to make some better agreed terms, because people still want that thing, Spider-Man, to finish his standalone films in the MCU. So they need to come up with a rating between 20 through 10%. That I agree Disney asked for a little too much, and they should actually range about there. And Disney should actually put a statement for Sony why they cannot afford anything higher than that rating, so they can actually tell them what is it because of money issues, is it because of something that just they cannot afford, or if they get so little amounts for their own rights to the Spider-Man franchise, something that can convince Disney enough to just make it at this rating. I believe they still can make a hope and keep it in this MCU, but as of right now, it's really a down at this point, because they just released another video in entertainment that they're about to leave the franchise because Disney just won't make an agreement. And I still blame this mostly on Sony, that can't agree between the range numbers of at least 25 to 20, but I think they should actually put it through 20. So here's my advice with Sony. What you guys should do is, instead of complaining about each other about the Spider-Man issue, why won't you just accept somewhere and convince Disney of 20 through 10%? That if this could make both parties satisfied, then yes, they can continue with Spider-Man and stop this drama that's been happening. Because it's not that big of a deal, 20 through 10%. It doesn't. I know 30 to 25 might be a little too high, and that's why it's hurting them. But somewhere between 20 to 10, come on. At least two parties have to agree somewhere between those lines, because they're not done. I would understand if they've been with so many solo Spider-Mans and it's time to make a negotiating change. Yes, I would understand. But 2 films? Come on. You're over asking too much. And now here's on the gaming side that they also need to fix. The first issue that I'm having, and I have to change this subject now with the PlayStation side. For Sony's part, on the PlayStation, this is my main issue. You see how Xbox is lasting? Because I'm with an Xbox right now and I'm able to play every old to new game because it has this right here, the backwards compatibility. Why PlayStation doesn't offer that. It doesn't. You can't pop in an old disc. Now, if anyone could tell me if they're finally starting to change that, they're finally gonna actually do something like that, it could be possible. But like I said before, until then, we're just have to wait, because the fact that this is going on and it's still telling me from Google that PlayStation 4 does not have backwards compatibility. That there is a streaming site, but it doesn't make any difference. That the fact that if you can't play any PlayStation 3 games in your PlayStation 4 console, it just makes it useless. It does. The reason why I have an Xbox One, because I'm able to play my 360 games. That's the number one reason. That they made it together. That's what makes it really awesome and neat, that I get to play old games and new games. And and let me tell you something. All the exclusives that I've seen, because I own the franchise with Xbox, have been popping in an Xbox, every single one. Now, I don't have a recording of the Xbox, but I can assure you that each Xbox, the exclusives that have been popping also on their listing, like the Ghostbusters Remastered, Cyberpunk 2077, they've been showing up in those listings on the Microsoft Store. And that's what gamers need to start realizing, that even though Insomniac Games may have PlayStation on their side, and are you still able to play the Resistant game, the Killzone games on the PlayStation 4? Well, there's your answer. It backwards compatibility does not offer it. This is my issue with the PlayStation side, that needs to be addressed to these guys, because I think they're kind of not seeing what's going on here. If you just stick on one platform, not everybody is going to be able to buy a PlayStation because they barely have any money. There's only people out there who own PCs or only own Xbox, and they just stick with those because the fact that they don't have enough money and they barely make enough, and they're just only with enough to buy just games. That's about it, because they have to still pitch in a lot of money and they barely can save any. So there's your number one problem. Even though they save so much, their saving goes morely towards like new controllers to different devices. They don't really put their towards consoles, and that's what the difference needs to address here. If also looking at the ex Microsoft community, yes, they've been having problems too, where Microsoft has terrible exclusives. So I had to like make a post to help to save the Xbox community by releasing statements that they should actually show these exclusive games. Now I can't really show that because I don't want to get in trouble, but the fact that this issue that's been addressing and going on needs to change for Microsoft. They're having a civil war with each other because they came to disagreements that they don't want to release these games, and some agreements say that since it's their own platform, that they should release these games and recreate them as remastered. And I agree 100%. This is the civil war that's happening. So like I said, in today's economy, we're having civil war on Microsoft. Why World War One's happening at Sony of these related issues that's been happening. And this is another issue too. VR experience on Xbox. They don't have it. And this is what's making gamers angry, because the PlayStation successful with the VR is causing more and more people to be on PlayStation. Until something comes up, yes, VR is required for the Xbox side, that Microsoft needs to wake up and realize they need VR on their system to get people's attention. Now, if you look at this site, there is websites that tell you that the Scarlet it might have a VR support. It does not confirm. There's just been rumors about the Scarlet might be compatible with an Oculus Rift S, which Oculus nowadays is one of the popular on PC. And there's also another website with another rumor saying the latest rumor of the Xbox Scarlet might support Oculus Rift S. If this is true, and we're able to play VR on Xbox with this compatibility of Oculus, this will change Xbox gaming industry, because not only that you're able to play with an Oculus Rift headset and controllers to have sensors move them, but you also the games themselves. So every game that's owned by Oculus could or have been on Oculus can actually be with the Xbox store included. And you know what that means, right? You get able to play these Oculus games, including all the stuff they put towards, which was, I seen the listing. I have the little latest wish list Oculus that they're compatible with Oculus, and they're really cool actually. Let me pop it up right now to actually show you guys the listing that's been happening, and it's crazy too. The latest report from my wish list with Oculus have a good amount of games. And let's start with the first one is the Ready Player One. This one is compatible with VR only on Oculus, and you could tell right here that it does support Oculus, and doing something like this is a step up. That once these guys will be ready with their game, not only that it'll be compatible with the PC, but it can also be compatible with Xbox, which makes me happy to know that I can finally play games on the Xbox without worrying about a single requirement that PC needs in order to play it. That you could just pop in your Oculus thing and all the settings to the Xbox Scarlet, and then boom, there you go. It will have cool ass badass features of all time. And then there's more, and the listing goes on and on and on here. Got Five Nights at Freddy's, Lightsaber, Rick and Morty, Fruit Ninja, and of course Super Hot VR and Spider-Man Far From Home, which is really cool. And to do something like this will help the Xbox really good. It will help that, because the way the things have been knocking out, Microsoft have not been pleasing gamers at all, and that's why people are just not satisfied. Here's my issue that needs to be addressed with Microsoft. They need to rally up their community from their side of the civil war that's happening with them, and address each other that they have to start focusing on more what gamers want. And this is the main one that we actually want in their system is VR experience. Even though it's hard to relate to, you're making a Scarlet that's really advanced. No excuses whatsoever. They don't even have to make an Oculus for Xbox. They can just make a compatible Oculus. There you go. So the latest rumor that's been from a coffee, they said they should actually do it because it will help their sales of the Xbox Scarlet out, and people will be buying them. Because this one was released in June 26th of 2019, and yes, it will help their economy. It will help their sales grow for the Xbox Scarlet. The fact that that's happening with the issue, yes, I agree 100% that they need to do that. And now to focus on the last statement issue that I needed to address, because the fact that all this stuff is going on, I don't want to be talking about too much of one subject after the other. Here's another relateness subject here. Loot boxes. This has been addressed about 2 weeks ago, that this Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are agreeing to force to loot box disclosure. And this is good for gamers, because now these gaming companies are making these so-called little developer companies that they own rights to, force them not to be making no more gambles, because this gambling has gone out of control and just too much. Over the years, they've been forcing gamers to pay on loot boxes for random digital goods, and that was not good at all. I felt angry when Halo 5 released this with paying digital goods for loot boxes, and it pissed me off, to be honest. It did. And with the rest of them doing the same, like Killing Floor 2, Star Wars EA, they've had their EA was forced to change their system because a lot of gamers were pissed. They didn't make enough sales because of their statement that they're doing, forcing gamers to pay. That wasn't right at all. It really got gamers angry, and some are even obsessed by it, that they just are forced to just gamble and pay money just to get digital products. It's crazy. And now young youth, like little 10-year-olds to 8-year-olds, are doing the same. They're sneakily getting their fathers or mothers' debit card or credit card, whatever it is, and paying so much of these digital products that when they find out that their parents can't use it, they probably realize where happened to their money. Why can't I use it on their system? So it makes them embarrassed that when they're trying to go market shopping and they can't use their own money because they don't have any. They go straight and complain and say, "What the hell happened? Why is this happening?" It came so badly that it finally got Congress to make a report, and they took them to court. If you guys haven't seen the latest issue that happened, yes, that was really bad, and that I feel that this thing had to change. It does. So the future of gaming industries are announcing that they're going to try to help customers purchase on their choice of purchasing which which they're trying to find ways to, you know, make it on sort gaming side and not make it towards like just gaming products, digital products, and they wanted to close that in permanently. They want to just maintain just the game itself. And even though the it doesn't look like an end to loot box, because I still see like a bunch of news about loot box. They're still happening on certain games. Most of this disclosure is happening because of the fact that they're trying to stop this upsetting with every game company doing the same over and over, and it's getting out of control. I mean, just look at Battle World of Ships and freaking Battlefield with the loot box thing. They're really obsessed with that, and they put the price extremely high. No wonder why they're going broke, because the fact that they don't know how to do it. So to make my opinion and to show you exactly how gaming industries with microtransactions should do it, I'm gonna have to actually show you exactly a right way that needs to happen. But the fact that the situation that the loot box is just getting out of hand, and I'm glad that now they're putting pressures to stop this from happening and helping gamers how from not having to force put money in through a digital product and get them to go instantaneously money after money for digital products, because it's gone too far and too much with them. Okay, so now we're at the store killing floor. I had to reset this because of the fact that my game a little crashed a little bit, but yeah, if you look closely to the store, this is where you get all your products at. I found it at the market place where you get all little tiny bit items like hats and accessories just by single purchase. I think gaming companies need to learn about this. Look at this right here, prices. For just getting this hat and killing floor 2, look how much it costs right there. It's selling for at least about 6 cents. So I think here's what gaming companies need to address themselves at. They need to start, instead of making gamers pay for a digital product with loot boxes, because I think that's stupid, with $5 to $6, that's stupid. Why don't you do this? If you're gonna put microtransactions, I would and making people pay with real money, which I believe I still against that with credits and use it with credits instead. If they're doing microtransactions, let's say a gaming company wants money with microtransactions, they need to reduce it all the way under 5. Under 5. And to have mostly their store with a couple of cents, so it's worth only $1 to get all these products that are only cents. So that's what needs to happen in the future for gamings with microtransactions, similar to like Fortnite or Apex Legends. These games, similar games, need to change their game to somewhere between with their loot box system. Even World of Warships need to do the same. Change your progression coins or whatever to cents, so that way gamers are still paying you, but in cents instead. Because doing something like this not only helps gamers out, but it doesn't force them to pay 5, 10, 20, 30. That's way too much. I'm like, this is too much for something. They're not even worth that. I wouldn't buy a ginormous cruiser for fucking $50. Hell no, that's what's going on in World of Warships. 40 to $50 for a single digital product game. A ship that's just only in the game. Like, this isn't freaking Madden to get you. This is it's similar to like a slot machine in Las Vegas, and you're not even getting your money back. So it's like, yes, doing something like this could not only get your game in progress, but also put your game in a better standing position. Why not forcing gamers to pay everything? Because there is games out there that should not be forcing gamers to pay, and one of them is Halo. With the microtransaction, Halo shouldn't have gamers pay at all. Another one is Star Wars Battlefront. We don't want any money types to pay real money for that type of game. And most of the games need to do something like this. If there's games that really need people to pay, this is my recommendation. Keep it at cents. Do not put dollars in there. you just will kill people's money off, and it will look really bad. It will. And they have to change their logos to make sure that their game is not, how you say this, their game is not for young youth. But even though then the situation is still happening, it's still ongoing, and that needs to really fix themselves. So I'm glad that I'm talking about all these three discussions, because of the fact that this situation has been going on. This situation, it was really bad, and I'm glad that I was able to speak out. Give your comments and give your opinions through these three subjects. What you think that needs to happen, what do you think that needs to change. I do like, however, if you guys are recognizing this, there is a controller out there that can finally let me play similar to the Xbox, and I have it right here. This controller is called the Nikon Revolution, which I believe this is really fascinating to actually finally play without the buttons, because there is people out there who just hate just pure buttons. And the joystick, it looks completely similar to the Xbox. Now the price, yes, it's scary a little bit, but even though then, it's like this controller, since it's wireless and wired, you get to charge it and you get to play your game, which makes it really fascinating. I think this should have been the standard and not the other one. Now I know there is gamers that want optional. Well, here's my optional, and here's for people who like Xbox so much that go ahead and pick this one out if you haven't, or wait until Black Friday, which they'll come on sale, so you can buy your own Revolution controller, because I believe that gamers do need to experience how a shooting trigger actually is from the backside, and they really need to show gamers that shooting games could be easy once again, not only on the Xbox but on the PlayStation as well. So I'm glad that they actually did something like that. As of right now, it doesn't look like the situation with Sony, that since they're being greedy, and the fact that this bad stuff that's been going all around and fighting been going on, I'm just gonna cool down for a while and just stay away from the PlayStation as of right now, because the fact that it's just not looking pretty out there in society. But thank you again so much for watching the latest news report and everything that I've been talking in this talking discussion video. Go ahead and still give your opinions and comments down below in this video. Subscribe to my Jimmy Wilson channel so you won't miss any content. And like always, hope you guys will continue watching Jimmy Wilson. You don't want to miss anything, and you don't want to looking out on something else without knowing what am I doing or what's happening. Please follow me on my live streams, because those are still going on, and I appreciate for the follow if you do put a follow on me. Thank you again so much, and we'll see you on another talking discussion video from your Zero Pal, Jimmy Wilson, and Orlock 425. Bye bye.